Sorry, y'all. Give me 1 second. Okay, there we go. I thought I was ready. Plot twist, the thing that grew your business to 10K months is the exact thing that's keeping you stuck there. I learned this the hard way when my strategy to six figures didn't work when I was scaling to multiple six figures. So if you're ready to scale but nothing seems to be working, these 21 questions will show you what's really holding you back. What I'm going to do in this live today, instead of just teaching, I'm actually going to answer 21 questions. Well, we'll see if we get through 21 questions. We only have an hour today, but I'm going to answer 21 questions, and that's going to help you to be able to 21 questions that my audience ask that will help you to be able to fix your business so that, and you know what, it's not that your business is broken, it's just the fact that you're not scaling. The strategy that you use to get to one level is not helping you get to the next level. So I want to show you how to fix that as I answer these 21 questions that my audience ask, right? So if you're coming in right now, you can feel free to double tap on the screen. You can feel free to like this video and ask your questions if you have any questions as well. I do have questions that my audience has commonly asked me as to why their business isn't growing. So that's what I'm going to be doing today. Again, if you want to participate in this live because you have questions, feel free to ask it. One thing that I ask everyone to do when you're coming in is to share this live out. Don't keep it to yourself. All you have to do is hit the share button at the bottom right-hand corner of the screen. Invite a few of your friends in. If you are watching from any of the social media platforms, feel free to share this live out. The more you engage, the more that social media will push it out. So I just want to thank you in advance for liking this, commenting, and sharing it with your friends. So this live is for the coach where you're already at six figures. You already have a following on social media, but you don't know how to convert those followers into customers. I'm going to be answering some questions that's going to help you to be able to do just that. This live is also for the ambitious business owner where you're accustomed to getting sales through word of mouth and referrals. However, you want to know how you can use social media in order to significantly increase your leads and your sales. This live is going to help you to do that as well. And this live is also for the business owners where you are so frustrated posting your video content that seems to be reaching no one. You know that you want to increase your visibility. You've tried every single social media platform and nothing seems to be working. I'm going to be answering questions that's going to help you with that. So again, I already have questions from my audience that I'm going to answer, but if you have questions that you want to ask, all you have to do is drop it in the chat and I will go ahead and answer your question. Who am I? I'm Shamara Star Cox, TV producer and marketing coach. My goal is to help 6- and 7-figure business owners get seen and get paid by creating binge-worthy videos on social media. Why binge-worthy? Because whatever you binge, you buy. We are in a society where people are binging Netflix, Hulu, YouTube, you name it. They're binging these platforms and paying for it every single month. So what do? I show you how to create that same exact experience on your page so that now you can take your audience from just browsing to binging to buying. That's the strategy. It works every single time. So again, today I'm going to be answering 21 questions, or at least I'm going to answer as much as I could within this 1 hour time frame. So if you have any questions, feel free to ask it in the chat. You can ask questions about your content, your marketing, your sales. If you are currently stuck at 8K months, 10K months, you want to know how to get to 20K months, 30K months, and nothing seems to be working, now's your time to ask a marketing coach who has helped many business owners be able to scale their business from 0 to 6 figures, who has helped many business owners go viral on their page so that now they can be able to grow their platform to over 40,000 followers, and has helped many business owners get 6 clients in 1 month, make $750 in 3 days, make what was it? I think it was $350 in 9 minutes. Like, my goal is to help you to accelerate, right? Accelerate your revenue, but only if you're ready for it. If you're not a business owner, but you want to stick around because you want to be motivated, feel free. But this live is specifically for business owners. I like to teach all of my lives like they are master classes because I know what it's like I know what it's like to follow this guru, that guru, this guru, and still not see any results. So instead, I like to cut out the fluff and help you right away. Okay, so I want to go into these questions. I have 21 questions. Oh, haha, I don't have 21. I have 19 questions that typically my audience asks that's keeping their business stuck and they want to know how to get out of that, right? And so again, if you have any questions, you can feel free to drop it in the chat and I will be happy to answer them. Hey, Chanel, honey, how you doing? Hey, Amazing Digital Life. Thank you all so much for joining. All right, so the first question is, I built my business to 6 figures through referrals, but how do I translate that success to social media without starting from scratch? So one more time, the question is, I built my business to 6 figures through referrals. How do I translate that success to social media without starting from scratch? So this question comes from a business owner where they've already built their success, right? So some of you may be able to relate to this. However, they want to know how they can use that success online, but it's not translating, right? So typically when you are already successful in your inner circle, in your local community, that means that you're great at selling one-to-one. You're great at communicating your message in front of people in person. But when it comes to translating your message online in video, you feel awkward. You don't know how to get everything that's in your head into 1-minute videos on social media, or if you're doing YouTube, you just feel uncomfortable or not confident on camera, right? So a couple of tips on what you can do in order to get your messages that's in here into your videos is to actually write down what are your key points in what you share with your audience, right? So when you're talking, when you're selling, when you're teaching, what are the key points? So you could just write down 10 key points. You don't have to write down 28. You don't have to write down 100. 10 key points is fine. If you only have 5 is fine as well, right? And from those 10 key points, you want to turn it into a social media series and post it on your social media channels, right? So turn it into a series. What do I mean by that? You can have your 10 key points, and let's say you are a relationship coach and you're accustomed to getting sales through word of mouth and referrals. You're accustomed to getting sales in your local community, right? But not really online. You want to go ahead and write down what are the 10 things that your audience likes to hear you talk about, right? And as you write down what those 10 things are, your next thing is to actually answer what those 10 things are. Like, how would you help them with those 10 things, right? So let's say one example is how to navigate dating apps, how to take yourself on a date, how to be desirable by the opposite sex, right? So those are just 3 that I went ahead and said. And then from those 3, you want to actually create the content that does that. Now, some of you that answers those questions. Now, some of you, you're hearing me say this and you're like, oh, wait, I already did that. But my issue is I don't know how to get all of my information into the video. It's too much information. I'm talking too long. I'm rambling. So 2 things that can help you. You can actually shoot the full video. And let's say your video comes out to be about 5 minutes long. Take that 1 5-minute video and edit it into 5 pieces and call it a series. Call it a series. So let's say you have a series that is called How to Navigate These Dating Apps, right? And you spoke for 5 minutes. It's a 5-minute long video. Cut it into 1-minute video. So now you have 5 clips and name it part 1, part 2, part 3, part 4, part 5, and put it up on social media. Why? Because the platforms love that. The goal on every single social media platform is to keep people on the platform. So if you're putting out content and then you have a part 1, a part 2, a part 3, people will keep coming back for more, and the platform will push your page so that now the algorithm is favoring your content, right? So instead of you getting stuck with, oh my goodness, how do I get all this information into one video? Just talk about it and then cut the video up into 5 pieces, 1-minute videos, right? And now you'll have an entire series that you can use. Hey, the NP mentor, thank you so much, right? So I do this with my clients all the time, and it helps because now they don't have to get stuck in their head trying to figure out, what do I say to my audience? How do I stop rambling? How do I get all this information out of my head and into video? Just shoot it and then edit it and then name it a series, and people will watch it. Why? Because what you have to share is what they need, right? I want you to think about if you're a finance coach and you are helping people to build wealth, to save money in their business or save money in their pocket each month. And you created a series that says, here's how to save $100 a day, right? And then you shared all that information and you cut it up. Part 1, part 2, part 3. Even if you have 10 parts, I know people who have gone viral from having like 28 parts to their series, right? right? So you don't have to limit yourself. All you have to do is be generous and give, right? Which now triggers another question, which is, what if I give too much away? So sometimes I get people who tell me, who ask questions like, what if I give too much away? Would people still buy if I gave too much away? So let me help you with that. It is impossible for you to give away so much information in a 1 minute video that people don't want to buy from you. That is a limiting belief. If I give too much, they won't buy. Like literally, if you have a 6-month program, could you fit a 6-month program into a 1 minute video? Could you fit a 6-month program into a 1 hour video? No, it's 6 months for a reason. Even if it's a 90-day program, there is no way you're going to give away too much. Hey, Digital Assets Boss, thanks for joining. Right? So instead of thinking about what if I give away too much, think about this. There's a scripture, it's found in 2 Corinthians 9, verse 6. And it says, those who sow sparingly shall reap sparingly, and those who sow generously shall reap generously. Think about sowing. Hey, Umbrella, how you doing? Think about sowing into your audience. How much can you sow into your audience? The more generous you are in sowing into your audience, the more that they're going to want to buy. That's it. They're going to want to buy more. So what I like to do is I like to teach things that my audience, one, wants to buy, and two, that my audience can't get enough of. Because if they are now watching it and then they're taking the tips, they're putting it into action, and they're getting results from it, now in their mind, they're naturally going to start thinking, well, if I was able to make money off of Star's free tips, how much more could I make if I actually invested in her program? So I want you to think like that too. Like if people can get results off of the free things that you're sharing on social media, how much more now will they get when they pay for you? Pay you, not pay for you, pay you, right? Another thing I want you to think about as you're sowing generously into your audience, right? I want you to think about that you are a resource connected to an unlimited source, right? So for me, the reason why I don't worry about how much I give away is because I know the more that I give away, the more that God will download into my mind that I can share. The things that I was teaching 5 years ago, I don't really teach anymore because I have new information. I have a wealth of knowledge that I can share with my audience. And as digital marketing shifts, so does the information that I have, it shifts, right? So the same thing with you. The relationship industry is not always going to be the same. The fitness industry is not always going to be the same. Yes, there are some bare bones that are the same, but it's always evolving. So allow yourself to evolve as well. I'm pretty sure some of you are like, you're right. Some things I taught a couple of years ago, I don't even teach anymore. And it's not that you don't believe in it anymore. It's just that you've evolved so much past that. You're attracting a new audience who needs what you have right now. So you never have to worry about, well, what if I give away too much? It's impossible to give away too much, right? Instead, focus on giving so that you can actually reap, because you reap what you sow, and you reap more than what you sow, right? Okay, so if you're just joining me, I'm doing 19 questions. The topic is why my business stopped growing and what finally fixed it, right? And so I'm answering 19 questions that my audience typically asks that's going to help you to grow your business and scale to the next level. Whether your next level is going from 10K months to 30K months, or your next level is going from 30K months to 50K months, or 50K months to 7 figures. These questions and answers that I'm giving is going to help you. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to ask in the chat. You can ask questions about your content, about your marketing, about your sales, about your revenue, about your messaging. I will be happy to answer. Okay, so the first question I answered was, I built my business to 6 figures through referrals, but how do I translate the success to social media without starting from scratch? So I gave the answer, which was you want to take some time, write down what are the top 10 things that your audience typically ask you about or that you typically teach, and then create content around those top 10 things, right? Okay, so next thing. Oh, okay, Joy Factor, Mama. Go ahead, ask your question in chat. Joy says, I really need help. So ask your question in the chat, and then I'll go ahead and give you some help. Okay, next question, and I'm gonna mix it up a little bit. I'm not gonna ask them in order. So next question, I've hired VAs, bought courses, tried every strategy. Why is my business still stuck at the same revenue? So, one more time, I've hired VAs, bought courses, tried every strategy. Why is my business still stuck at the same revenue? How many of you can relate to that? Where you felt like you've tried everything. You've posted 3 or 4 times a day. You've posted every day. You've gone live. Your VAs are posting for you right now. You've joined this course and this course and that course. You've worked with this coach and that coach, but you are still stuck at the same revenue. So there's actually multiple answers for this, and I'm going to give two. And the first one is mindset. The first one is mindset. If you don't believe that you can get out of your revenue that you are now, you're not going to. You're going to remain stuck. So sometimes what happens is we tell ourselves, I want to make more, but your body is afraid to make more. I know it sounds bizarre, right? But some parts of you may be thinking, if I make more, that means I have to do more or I have more responsibility. Could I really be trusted with more? Right? And the only way you're going to know if it's a mindset thing is if you actually take some time to journal. Take some time to journal and identify, what would I feel like if I actually made $50,000 in a day, right? Not what I would do with it. Being able to journal what you will do with it is so easy. But what would you feel like if you actually made $50,000 in a day? Now, I used to have a similar mindset, right? Where I felt like I wanted to make millions of dollars, right? That was my mind. I want to make millions of dollars. However, when I started getting paid like $10,000, $30,000, I would freeze. And something inside of me would tell me, you'll never make that much again. And I remember this happened in 2023. I had made $17,000 in one day. One day. That's prophetic. I made $17,000 in 1 month. And I hit $30,000 in 3 months, right? And I remember when the last monies cleared in my bank account, that I froze and I heard a voice that said, you'll never make this much money again. And so for the next month now, as we're going into that month, actually, as the month is going, I was stuck and I couldn't make as much money as I was making before. It's like something inside of me, if I froze. I froze. Why? Because of the mindset, the voice that said, you'll never make this much money again, right? And so I remember it was May, so I was like May 2023. We're getting down to the last 2 weeks of the month. And I hadn't even made any sales that month. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna go into my mirror. I'm going to declare that I'm gonna make $1,000 today. Because I'm very much a firm believer in declaring. I'm very much a firm believer in affirmations, right? And I knew that if I was stuck, I needed to release this stuckness. So I needed to declare I'm going to make $1,000 today, right? Some of you have done that and you've declared it and you didn't make it. And I'm going to tell you why in a little bit. So I get to the mirror and I open my mouth to declare I'm making $1,000 today. And what comes out of my mouth is, in the name of Jesus, I come out of agreement with the poverty spirit, and I come out of agreement with lack and scarcity, and I come into agreement with what heaven has declared about me, that I am a kingdom financier. That's what came out of my mouth. I did not declare $1,000 in one day. I declared that I'm coming out of agreement with lack and scarcity, because that thought, that mind, that voice that I heard earlier that month was lack and scarcity talking to me. You'll never make that much. That's the lack. You'll never make that much. That's scarcity. You got to be able to recognize what spirits are talking to you. And so when I recognized it, I came out of agreement, because some part of me was in agreement with lack and scarcity. Like, I've already made as much money. I don't need any more. I've already made just enough. I'm satisfied. The only problem with that is I don't serve a God of just enough. He doesn't give just enough unless you're in the wilderness season. But when you move into the promised land, it's abundance that he gives. So I wasn't supposed to settle for just enough. I had to come out of agreement with lack and scarcity. But hear this. Here was the biggest part that was next. I then came into agreement with heaven. And coming into agreement with heaven was super important. Why? Because there was an open heaven for me. What does that mean? When there is an open heaven, that means that God is releasing miracles. He's about to do something powerful. That's what's going to happen for some of you just this month. The month is about to be over this weekend, and you're about to see something powerful happen in your life. Don't discount it, right? But don't limit it either, because that's what I had to understand. I couldn't limit heaven. If I would have said, today I'm going to make $1,000, guess what? I would have only made $1,000. Guess what actually happened? When I came into agreement with heaven, the next day I made $1,000. The day after that, I made $5,000. Then I made $500. In the span of 1.5 weeks, I brought in $6,500. Why? Because I didn't declare I'm gonna make $1,000. That would have been too small, too limiting. God already had the people who was ready to invest. I made $6,500 in the span of 1.5 weeks when I came into agreement with heaven. So again, if you feel like, I'm doing everything, but nothing is working, check your mindset, check your nervous system, check your beliefs. What have you been saying? What are your affirmations? What does your body believe? Because your body won't do what you don't believe, right? So that's the first part, mindset. And the second part is messaging. As much as I like to be spiritual, there is a physical factor to this as well. What is your messaging when you're posting on social media? Is it actually speaking to your dream clients, or is it very general? I had someone come on my live last week, I think it was, maybe 2 weeks ago, and she said, girl, no one's buying. I've tried this, I've tried this, I've tried this. And I said to her, okay, I want you to write, what is your messaging in the chat? And she wrote her messaging in the chat. And I told her, oh, it's too general. You need to be more specific. And I gave her a chat GPT prompt so that she could be more specific. Some of you think that you are being specific with your audience, but you are too general. And because of that, your messaging is going over the heads of your dream clients. I'm going to give you an example. Let's say someone who is a finance coach, right? You're a finance coach and you help people save $100 a day in their business, right? Now that's super specific, but some of you are probably saying something like this. I'm a finance coach and I'm going to help you to build generational wealth. I'm going to help you to make more money. I'm going to help you to save more money. All of that sounds nice, but it's too general. How about if you get a little bit more granular, more specific? What is it that they want? Do they want to be able to save $1,000 a month so that they can put down the down payment on their house? Do they want to be able to create an additional stream of income so that they no longer have to work a 9 to 5? Do they want to be able to start a business and leave it as a financial legacy for their family? What is it that your dream client actually wants? And speak that. Now, here's the shift, because some of you, the reason why you're being general is because you feel like you're saying too much in your videos if you're specific. And the reality is you will. It will make your videos a little bit longer if you're specific. It will make your hooks a little bit longer if you're specific. It will make your emails a little bit longer if you are specific. But here is the result that you get. The result that you get is that someone now says, oh my goodness, you're in my head. How did you know that that's what I needed? How? And then they go ahead and buy. So the question is, do you want to just put out any old content, or do you want to put out content that converts? Right? Last thing. Okay, I know I said I was only going to give 2 points. So I said mindset, messaging. The last thing is marketing. Some of you have hired VAs to post your content for you. And you're wondering, why are you not getting any results? Because a VA means virtual assistant. A VA is not a marketeer. It's not a marketing strategist. It doesn't matter if this person has worked 15 years. I had an appointment setter who told me she's 15 years in marketing, and sis did trash for me. Okay? I'm not going to go into a whole story because I could get real mad about this. But she was trash working in my business. It was the worst experience I ever had. If someone has title VA, believe them. They are a virtual assistant. You know what virtual assistants do? They assist you. So if you don't know a thing about marketing and then you hire a virtual assistant who also doesn't know anything about marketing, guess what results you're going to get? Squat. So instead of just hiring a VA, make sure you have a marketing strategist that's working with you. Make sure you have a marketing manager that's working with you. If you've never worked with someone in marketing, that's one of the reasons why your business is stuck at the same level, because the strategies that you did for leads and sales, that worked at the 10K level, but it's not going to work at the 20K level. It's not going to work at the 50K level. You need a marketing strategy that's going to shift you. Right? Okay. So I want to do just a quick reset and then I'm going to read some of the questions that popped in this chat. Hey, Coop Date, thanks for joining us. All right. So I saw one question pop in the chat. So one more time, if you're just joining us, I'm covering why my business stopped growing and what finally fixed it. I'm answering 19 questions that my audience typically ask in order to help them to get unstuck so you can fix your business. If you're joining me here, feel free to ask your questions. I'm happy to answer it. All you have to do is write it in the chat and then I can answer your question for you. Okay, so Joy Factor Mama says, it seems like my potential client base is intrigued but doesn't purchase. I have a few people that purchase monthly astrology / mindfulness reports, but not consistent, I guess. Okay. So you're saying that your potential clients, they are interested, but they're not actually buying. So this can be for anyone, right? If you recognize that you're putting out content and people are your cheerleaders, they're cheering you on, they are happy to work with, they are happy for the content that you're putting out, but they're not actually buying. Two things: your offer isn't clear to them. They have no idea what they're buying. If you are very general in the sense that you're telling them, hey, I have a 90-day coaching program. Nobody buys coaching programs, by the way. They buy the outcome that the coaching program gets for them. So you said that they were getting most of them are interested. Your recurring clients are getting monthly reports from you, right? So I would go and interview my current clients and I would ask them what made them buy. Like, don't be afraid to talk to your audience. Some of you, the reason why your messaging isn't strong is because you're not talking to your audience. You're talking to ChatGPT. And ChatGPT can only give you but so much information on your people. That's it. ChatGPT cannot read minds. The only thing that it can do is pull information from the internet. So you want to go and actually ask your audience, what made you buy? Why did you like this? What was the results that you got? And then create content that specifically speaks to your people and tells them, hey, this is what this is going to do for you. And this is the transformation that you're going to get. It's super, super simple. Jeff said, and people way overcomplicate things. Yes. Did I miss your first? Hey, Jeff, how you doing? Did I miss your first comment? Nope. Okay. Yes, you're absolutely right. People do overcomplicate things. And it's mainly because they don't know how to sell on video, right? So I'm pretty sure that's one of the questions that I have, but if not, I'm going to answer that right now. So how do you sell on video? Well, here's the thing. If you're accustomed to getting sales through word of mouth and referrals, it's easier for you to sell. Why? Because one, when the person's coming to you through a referral, you're already highly recommended. So in their mind, they're already making the buying decision. You don't have to do much persuading. All you have to do is show them how you can help them, and then they're going to buy. When you are selling through video, the people don't know you from a hole in the wall. They just don't. They don't know you. So, and you cannot read their face because you're talking to a video. Oftentimes that video is looking directly at you. So you have no idea what the people are thinking. You can't pick up on their energy. So you can't read the room. So when you're talking on video, it's really important that you have one person in mind. And that one person is your dream audience member who's going to buy right now. So whenever I'm selling, I talk specifically to my dream client. And I always say something along the lines of this. If you're accustomed to getting sales through word of mouth and referrals, through word of mouth or referrals, and you want to know how you can use social media marketing to increase your lead generation and your following, here's how I can help you. That's super specific, as opposed to if you want to know how to get to 30K months, like 30K months is nice and all, but I want to talk directly to this dream client. Some other things that I may say, if you're someone who's watching right now and you have been posting 3 or 4 times a day, your views are stuck between 100 and 300 views. And you're still trying to figure out, why is it that my audience isn't engaging with me? You're getting one comment, and one of it may be from your mama who just wants to support you. And you want to know, how can you reach a larger audience so that you can sell? Let me help you. You see how specific that is? I have one person in mind. My goal isn't to talk to everyone in the world. It wouldn't make sense. My goal is to talk to the people who are attached to my voice, who are ready to work with me, who God has specifically sent them into my life so that they can work with me so I can help them. There's a scripture where Jesus says, my sheep know my voice. I know them and they know me. I think I quoted it correctly, right? Star's version, the Star version is, my sheep know my voice, and another they will not follow, which means that there are people who are attached to your voice, that when you speak on video, they will come from all over the world to work with you, and they won't work with anyone else but you. But you must speak their language so that they can know that you were sent to help them. Let me give you an example. I had a client who came to me before she was a client. This was a couple of years ago. She said, Star, I really want to work with you. I said, awesome, I got you. And this is the price. And she said to me, oh my goodness, that costs a lot. I said, that's okay. Go sell your stuff and come back to me and work with me. She said, okay. She left. 6 months later, she came back. She said, Star, I really want to work with you. I don't want to work with anyone else but you. I said, okay, that's cool. This is the price. She said, I already told you that costs too much. I said, okay, go sell your stuff. Come back to me, right? She came back 1 year later. So this is another 6 months. She came back 1 year later. This time she came back with a friend. And she says, Star, there were other marketing coaches who wanted to work with me, but I said, no, I know someone. I want to work with you. And that's it. And I brought a friend and I quoted her the price. And she said, girl, I already told you it costs too much. There is nothing, I can't. And I said, go out, go sell your stuff and come back to me. She came back 2 days later. She booked 6 clients and she paid in full. Now, what shifted? One, she knew that I was her coach. It didn't matter how many other social media coaches are out there, how many other marketing coaches are out there. She refused to work with anyone else but me. There are some people who are following you right now where they refuse to work with anyone else but you. Make them an offer. They are attached to your voice. They are attached to your business. Make them an offer. Don't let them get away because you're afraid to sell. Don't let them get away because you feel like, oh, no one's going to buy this. That's not what they're thinking. Right now, they're enamored by you. They want to work with you, but they're not going to slide in your DMs. And they're not going to comment on your posts. They're going to wait for you to make them an offer, right? Awesome. Okay, so if you're just joining me, again, I am talking about why my business stopped growing and what finally fixed it. I'm answering 19 questions that my audience typically ask so that I can help you to be able to scale to the next level. Hey, Sharik, thank you so much for joining. Sharik says, save space and add modern style to your home. Okay. Absolutely. Okay, let's see. Joy says, I'm going to be transparent. My lack of making money is pinching my confidence. Yep, it's pinching my confidence. Thanks for your answer. I was showering. No worries. So Joy, then that's the real issue, right? It's the fact that you don't feel confident in making your money right now because it's not coming in. And trust me, Joy, I have gone through that too. Just last year, June 2024, God gave me a prophetic word. He said, I'm sending a famine to your business to get rid of the leeches. And I was like, famine? Why? Why you just can't show me who the leeches are and I just get rid of them? I wasn't going to anyway. I'm too much of a softie. Right? And so he sent the famine. The famine hit July 2024. So June 2024, we had a 12K month. And then the famine hit July 2024. We didn't get any new clients in July. We got 2 new clients in August. And then I think our next set of clients didn't come in until December. No, October. So we were getting clients every other month, right? And then January 2025 hit. And we got no new clients from January all the way to March, right? Where I got like 1 client. Now, here's the thing. The more time that went by, the more I started to second guess what I teach. Because I started thinking maybe none of this works. Maybe I need to go back to school. Maybe I need to work with a coach because nothing's working. I'm putting out the content. I'm going live. No one's buying. People are watching. They're cheering me on. They're happy. They love it. But nothing seems to be working, right? But I was in a famine season. You know what happens in a famine season? It doesn't matter what you do. It doesn't matter how much you sow. It doesn't matter how much you water. You're not going to grow. And that's what God was showing me in that season, right? And so my confidence was also attacked. I was working with a mentor. I would ask my friends. They would give me the same strategies that I already knew what to do. And it just wasn't working. Here's what God was doing with me. He was developing my character. I had to learn how to keep going even when it got hard. Why? Because this is only this level. But what happens when I get to millions of dollars? It doesn't get any easier just because I make more money. I know we like to think that, but no, actually, it comes more responsibility. The Bible says, to much is given, much is required. So more responsibility will be required of me. And I need to be able to be responsible on this level before I get to the millions, right? So that's one. Number two, trusting God. I had to develop such a deep trust during the famine season so that I wouldn't be shaken during the feast season. Because let me tell you right now, I'm going to just talk to some of the Christians who's on the line right now. When you are a Christian, we go through two types of trials. There's more, but I'm going to just name these two. One, when you're going through lack and the enemy tries to tempt you to leave God so that you can get more. If you leave God now, he will show you the world. He will bless you with riches right now, but it's never worth it, right? So that's one type. And then you get to a space where you're no longer in lack. You're in abundance and everything's going well. You're in prosperity. You're making lots of money. And now the enemy doesn't tempt you with lack. Instead, he tempts you with the money. Why? Because you become complacent. You become complacent. You become complacent. Yes, right? Where it's like, okay, I don't need to be seeking God every day because I'm good financially. The bills are paid. I get to travel wherever I want to travel. I get to do whatever I want to do. So that's another temptation, that complacency where you don't have to seek. That's where the enemy comes in. Right? And so God was showing me that I want you to be able to trust me, that you may not get tempted during this season or the next. And let me tell you, I developed such a deep trust for God during this season that it doesn't matter what's happening. I could make sales one month, not make sales the next month. And guess what? I always know that God got me. And there's a scripture that God gave me that I really sat on, that I still stand on till this day. Let me find it for you. It is Matthew 6. No, not Matthew 6:33. I know that one is very popular, but actually it's right before Matthew 6. Is right before Matthew 6:33. It's Matthew 6:25 to I'm gonna just read it. It's Matthew 6:25. That's where I'm starting, right? It says, therefore, I tell you, do not worry about your life, what you will eat or drink, or about your body, what you will wear. Is not life more than food and the body more than clothes? Look at the birds of the air. Do not sow or reap or store away in barns, and yet your heavenly Father feeds them. Are you not much more valuable than they? Can any of you, by worrying, add a single hour to your life? This is verse 28 now. And why do you worry about clothes? See how the flowers of the field grow. They do not labor or spin. Yet I tell you that not even Solomon in all his splendor was dressed like one of these. If that is how God clothes the grass of the field, which is here today and tomorrow is thrown into the fire, will he not much more clothe you, you of little faith? Here's verse 31. So do not worry, saying, what shall we eat, or what shall we drink, or what shall we wear? For the pagans run after all these things, and your heavenly Father knows that you need them. That's the verse that really stands out to me. So it's verses 6:25 to 6:32, where it says, do not worry. But the biggest part in verse 32 says, for your Father knows that you need these things. When I tell you that I had to stand on that for months, and no matter how hard it was, there was some times that I would go live and I would make an offer to my audience, and I knew nobody would buy. People couldn't see it, but I had tears welling up in my eyes. That's how sad I was. That's how frustrated I was. But I kept going live. Do you know how many times I posted videos where I felt embarrassed that I knew nobody was going to comment, but I still kept showing up anyway? It was painful. It's embarrassing. Do you know how many times that I walked into a room and I shared my message with people and nobody would buy? It's frustrating, absolutely frustrating. But I kept on showing up and I kept standing on the scripture that said, your Father knows. He knows that you're hungry. He knows that you feel like you don't have enough money for rent. He knows that you're frustrated living in the situation that you're living in right now. And the part that gave me so much peace is that he knows and he's not concerned about it. And so I realized, well, if it doesn't bother God, why am I allowing it to bother me? If he is not concerned or worried that I don't have enough money to pay rent, why will I be concerned and worried that I don't have enough money to pay rent? And that type of peace, I mean, till this day, when I start worrying, I'll be like, nope, my Father knows. He knows. Now, let me tell you this too, right? Because some of you are like, oh my goodness, God had you in such a horrible season. That season really blessed me. It helped me because I got to stand on his word, but I got to understand him as a God of trust. There are things that we worry about today on Wednesday that God has already figured out for Friday. So those days where I was sad going live and nobody was buying, as soon as God told me that the famine was over, that next week I booked 4 clients in 1 week. So for months, I'm worried. How come no one's buying? My messaging must suck. I must suck. I must not be great at this. And as soon as God said the famine was over, I booked 4 clients in 1 week. And my biggest client that week, which pretty much restored everything. Forget that whole year that I went through the famine. He restored everything. In a whole month, he restored everything. I hit $11,000 in the month of July. I didn't even know that I hit $11,000 in the month of July. And I was like, oh, God told me, he said in June, he said, go ahead and book that trip to Colombia. I'm looking at God like, book what trip to Colombia with what money? But I believed him. And by faith, I just booked that trip to Colombia. And just 2 days ago, or maybe 3 days ago, I paid off that entire trip. I said, oh, that's why you told me to book it. So there are things that you're worrying about today that God already has the answer for. Just keep going. The answer may not come today. The answer may come in 2 days. It may come in 3 days. It may come in 4 days. And that has given me enough peace that some things I'm concerned about right now, I already know the answer is coming. So for Joy, I hope that encourages you and blesses you that in this season, I don't even know if you're Christian, but if you're not, take a stab at Jesus and see what happens there, because there are certain things that he does want to show you about your finances and about your beliefs. I get the sense that you are living below your means, right? And I don't mean that you're poor or anything like that. You're living below your means, which means that God has this much for you, but you're settling for this much because this is all that you can see. And he doesn't want you to focus on what you can see. He wants you to focus on the faith that he's depositing in you. So may you be blessed. All right. So for those of you who are just joining, I'm talking about why my business stopped growing and what finally fixed it. I'm answering 19 questions that my audience typically ask so that I can help you to scale your business to the next level. I think I answered about 4 or 5 questions. And then we had the lovely Joy who ended up asking a question as well. So if any of you want to ask your question, feel free to ask as well. Okay. So let me go into another one and then we'll wrap up. We'll wrap up. Okay, let me see. I have so many. What do I even say when someone asks about? Oh, okay, this is a good one. What do I even say when someone asks about my prices and I know they're going to think I'm too expensive? That's such a good one. So one more time. What do I even say when someone asks about my prices and I know they're going to think I'm too expensive? Okay, this is also a mindset thing. So this morning I woke up and I'm scrolling through social media, and Ashley Nicole, she's a powerful, powerful business owner, business coach. I absolutely love her. She posted on her social media today. She said, I have 1 slot left for my VIP day. It costs $50,000. Let me know if you're in. And I go to the comments because I'm like, let me see what everybody's saying. And everyone is congratulating her. Everyone's like, oh my goodness, you just put the price out there. No beating around the bush. This is inspiring. I'm taking notes. I'm learning. Now, one thing in sales, one of the first things you learn in sales is the best way to qualify your audience and scare off the people who aren't good for you, who aren't going to work with you, is to put your price out there. The reason why you're afraid that people are going to think you're too expensive is because you're trying to catch everyone. The goal isn't to catch everyone. The reason why we identify dream clients is because your dream clients can afford your prices. Okay? Can somebody write that in the chat? My dream client can afford my price. So while you're out here chasing people who can't afford your price, you have a dream client waiting for you to tell them, hey, it costs $10,000. And you got to say it with confidence too. I get it. A lot of us, we feel weird when it comes to money. Thank you, Natasha. See, Natasha wrote it in the chat. Of course she did, because Natasha's name is Cash Flow Officer. You better, honey. You better, right? There's a lot of us in here where we feel weird when it comes to talking about money, right? But you know who never felt weird talking about money? Jesus. You know that money has been mentioned so many times in the Bible, so many times that I can't count. Jesus was not afraid to talk about money. And I'm going to give you an example. How many of you know the story of the parable of the talents? The parable of the talents. Hey, Dr. V, my sisters, are you back now? I got to go back to my WhatsApp and see how things are going, right? So if you know the story, the parable of the talents, I'm going to tell it the Bible way, and then I'm going to interpret it the way that God gave it to me, right? So in this story, there was a master, and he had 3 servants. Now, the master gave the servants each a talent according to their a capacity and ability, right? The first servant, he gave 5 talents. Now, that word talent does not mean your gifts that God deposited inside of you. It does not mean the talents as in you tap dancing and singing. That's not what that means. Although I know the church likes to preach it that way because it's easier for us to understand, right? Especially when you have a poverty mindset. But that word talents means money. So that means Jesus was over here telling a whole story about a master who gave money to his servants, right? So he gave 5 to the first servant, he gave 2 to the second servant, and he gave 1 to the third servant. And then the master left. And then the master came back. And when the master came back, he said to the servants, well, what did you do? The first servant said, you gave me 5, I've multiplied it, and now I'm giving you back 10. The second servant said, you gave me 2, I multiplied it, and now I'm giving you back 4. The third servant said, I was afraid. I was afraid that you were going to be mad at me. So instead, I hid it. And here's what the master said to that third servant: you wicked and lazy servant. Take what I have given to him, give it to the others, and throw him out where there is weeping and gnashing of teeth. I remember the first time I heard that story, I was like, I identified with the third servant. I was like, yes, that's exactly what you should do. You should bury it. And when I got to the point where the master was like, you wicked and lazy, I was taken aback. I clenched my pearls. I was like, what happened now? And here's what God said to me. God said, I am giving you money, and I am coming back for a return on my investment. Will you give me a return, or will you be like the wicked and lazy servant who allowed fear to stop him? I was like, I've never heard it this way before. Anybody else heard it that way before? When I was in church, they didn't talk about that. They were just like, use your gifts and your talents. God was like, no. I've given you a certain amount of money according to your ability, and I'm coming back for a return on my investment. I was like, whose God is this? Now, let me tell you this. When he gave me this scripture, he gave it to me to convict me. Why? Because I was undercharging. I was afraid to charge high prices. Thank you, Natasha. Natasha said, that's our God, okay? This is why I love serving Jesus, because I know what the world says about him. Like, the world has him out here looking like this soft God, but he's not soft at all, right? I was afraid to charge high prices. I was afraid to charge what my services was really worth. I was undercharging. And God said, come here for a second. I want you to read the parable of the talents. And I read that. And when he said, I'm coming back for return on my investment, I was like, oh, okay, let me get my life. And I got my life and I changed my prices. Do you know that when I changed my prices, I went from a $475 coaching program to a 5K coaching program. And when I changed it to 5K, the next day somebody invested 5K. Okay? Next one. Because I was getting so many clients at 5K, I decided, let me raise the price to $7,500. And guess what happened? People were buying at $7,500. Okay, one more time. Because I was getting so many clients at $7,500, I decided, let me raise the coaching program to $10,000. And guess what? People started buying at $10,000. Now that's where the coaching program is going to stay. It's at 10K, right? But here's what I learned. One, God, first of all, when he told me to quit my job, I only had $8,000 in my bank account. That's what God gave me in the season, 8,000. Since then, I have multiplied that to multiple six figures. So if God came back right now and asked me for an account and asked me what I did with the money he gave me, I could tell him, here's how much money I made. And we're still making more today. I actually just went back to God and I said, Lord, I can't keep living like this. I need another strategy that's going to keep on bringing in the money. I want to be able to bring in the money without me having to work. What's the strategy? That's what he wants. That's what he wants us to come back for more. When I said that some of you are settling, he wants you here, but you're here. It's because you're not coming back and asking for more. You're still on just enough. You still tell yourself, if I could just post my video and reach one person, why would you do that? Where did Jesus come off his throne to reach one person? You show me in the Bible. Jesus did not come off his throne in heaven to come to this world to reach one person. It wouldn't have made sense. He came for impact. He came to reach the masses. So please stop settling because you're afraid that people are going to think you're too expensive. Please stop settling because it sounds cute to reach one person and it sounds humble. It's not humble. It's false humility, which is also another word for pride. That's pride. And you thinking that, well, I can't do it, so it's never going to happen. I know it happens to me too. I think that too. I think, oh, well, I can't do it. But that's the whole point of your business because you can't do it. But you know who can? Holy Spirit. And all he's looking for is someone to partner with. So when it comes to you thinking, oh my goodness, people are going to think I'm too expensive. I hope they think I'm too expensive. I think that you should think that I'm too expensive. And you know where I got this mindset from? I got it from Myron Golden. Do you know that he was my second business coach? My second business coach in a season where all I had was $8,000 in my bank account. All I had was enough money to pay bills for a year. I asked God to send me one business coach. He sent me two. I paid for both my coaches back to back, not on loans, by the way, on faith. And I don't mean faith as in I went to Myron and was like, hey, I don't got money to pay you. No. I said, Lord, where is money coming from? And he showed me. And I did the work and I got the clients so I could pay my coaches. But one thing that Myron says, if none of you know who he is, he'll start popping up on your YouTube. One thing that he says that I love so much about his messaging is that he is known as one of the most expensive. No, I don't think he said one of. He is known as the most expensive business coach out there. That has to be some type of marketing to be known as the most expensive business coach out there, and people are still paying you. That showed me something because there's a lot of you out here where you're trying to be known as the bargain business coach. You're trying to be known as the bargain relationship coach. You want to give out bargain prices. You want to be comparable to those in the market. So when you set your prices, you look in the market first. What they charging? Okay, I'll charge this too, so I can be comparable. I don't do that. When I set my prices, and I kid you not, I tell my clients to do this too. When I set my prices, I do this. This is what I'm offering. How much do I want to charge for it? That's literally how I set my prices. What am I checking the market for? I don't care what the market says. I care about being seen as the most expensive, as you should. Why? Because when people feel like they are investing in luxury, they know they're going to receive luxury. They know they're going to receive high quality. I have invested in coaches where their prices was like a couple of $100s. And you know what I received? Not quality. I've invested in staff members to work with me. I should say contractors to work with me. One second, y'all. Right. I've invested in contractors to work with me and their prices was low. So you know what I got? I got crap. I got crap. You got to stop thinking that if I invest cheap, I'm going to get good quality. That literally makes no sense. How many of you like to shop in Dollar Tree? I used to, not as much anymore. How many of you like to shop in Walmart? Their prices are low for a reason. They attract a certain type of audience for a reason. But you can't expect that whatever you get from Walmart or Dollar Tree is going to last you for years to come. How many of you like to shop at outlets? How many of you like to go to Michael Kors? I mean, I don't. But just to make this comparison, when you purchase one of those high quality products, you can expect it to last a long time. Okay? So instead of you trying to show up as the best bargain coach or business or service provider, why don't you just show up as the most expensive and see who actually is attracted to you? You would be shocked the people who come to me. Those same people who told one coach they can't afford comes to me and they're like, "Yep, I'm ready to buy in full." Why? Because it's a mindset. Being expensive is a mindset. I can't afford is a mindset. And some of you, you're running yourself raggedy because the people that you're attracting have a poverty mindset. And that does not make your business good working with people with poverty mindsets. Why? Because every month you got to wonder if they're going to pay you. Are they going to pay me this month? They're going to be late this month? What? I'm not doing that. I don't got to wonder if my clients are going to pay me. They're going to pay. And guess what? Guess what happens when you have higher quality prices too? You also attract higher quality people who have integrity. So at any point that they say, I can't pay, guess what? They reach out. They don't ghost. They don't ghost. People who invest higher quality, they have integrity. So they actually reach out and they say, oh, you know what? This payment is going to miss. Can you allow me another 2 days so I can get the money? I've had people who told me, I want to work with you, but I can't right now. Give me 1 hour to get the money. 1 hour. Come on, faith. That type of faith. Right? So for those of you who are afraid of thinking of being too expensive, put your price out there anyway. Scare off the people who aren't for you. I'm not concerned. Sometimes I'm like, man, I really do want to make this money right now. But you know what's more worth it? Someone who actually invests at the 10K level because they show up each day to do the work. And then they get the best results. The reason why I can brag about my clients who got 6 clients in 1 month, that happened 2 times to 2 different clients who made $750 in 3 days, who made $350 in 9 minutes. I can brag about these things because they actually did the work. Some of you have people coming into your services, coming into your coaching programs who are investing low ticket and not doing the work. And it feels like feels like they're dragging their feet and you have to carry them with you. Oh, that's frustrating. I don't like working with people like that. Okay, so I'm going to wrap up here actually. So I was talking about why my business stopped growing, what finally fixed it. I answered maybe about 7 questions that my audience asked, right? So today was more like a Q&A style. I had 19 questions that my audience typically asks, and I answered them so that it can help you. One of the questions was around pricing. You're afraid to quote your price because you don't want to come off too expensive. Quote your price so that you can scare people off. One of the questions was, I did everything. I hired a VA. I had e-courses. I've done this. I've done that. I'm still not scaling. I gave you the answer to that. Mindset, messaging, and marketing. Those are the 3 things you need to fix there. Some of you are spectacular when it comes to word of mouth, when it comes to referrals and getting your sales. But when it comes to doing it on camera, when it comes to getting all your information in here into your videos, it's extremely hard. So I gave you a tip so that you can actually create series with your content. If you missed any parts of this live, I do have the replay. The replay does live on YouTube so that you can get access to that. Yes, Sellout 4K says, I'm about to change my price today. That is the best testimony that I've received today. I'm about to change my price today. That part right there. So any of you who are tuning in right now and you want to know how I can help you, I do have a 5-day challenge called AI Content to Cash. In the challenge, I teach you how to create content that sells in 5 days or less. I show you how to use AI tools so that you can create that content faster. Why? Because there's a lot of you right now where you have a lot of clients, you have family, you're running a business, and you don't have time to create content in one sitting. You just don't. And you want to post, but it's hard to create the content. Some of you right now, you're barely showing up on social media. You want to be consistent, but you can't because you don't know what to say in your videos to get your audience to buy. In the challenge, these are the things that we show you, right? So not only do we answer your questions in the challenge, but we also show you how to implement. So there's a lot of you in here where you've joined other coaching programs, you've joined other e-courses, and your biggest struggle was you were able to get the information, but you did not know how to implement. You didn't know how to execute. In those 5 days, we show you how to execute. Why? Because you can't get results unless you are actually doing the work. So our goal is to show you how to do the work, how to create the content, actually create the content, and then we audit the content for you that you create in the challenge. So if you're like, that's what I want to start seeing shifts, I want to start seeing sales, I want to start seeing my leads increase, then all you have to do is DM me the word challenge accepted, and I'll personally send you an invite to the challenge. Or you can just go ahead. I think for a lot of my social media pages, there is a website in my bio, so you can go ahead and select that so that you can join. Okay, Natasha says, I'd love to join the challenge and connect with you. Come through, Natasha, come through. Yes, I would love to work with you too, especially because your name says cash flow. I love anything with cash flow in it. All right, so who the challenge is for? The challenge is for the coach where you're already at 6 figures. You already have a social media following, and you're not really sure how to convert those followers into customers. I show you exactly how to do that. The challenge is also for the business owner where you're currently getting sales through word of mouth and referrals, but you're hesitating to sell in your videos. I want to show you how to sell confidently in your videos. And then the challenge is also for the business owner, the service provider, or the coach where sales isn't your issue. You make money on tap. That's simple. Your biggest issue is visibility. You do not know how to be seen on social media. So I want to show you how you can be seen so that your income can match your influence can match your income, and you can start to build your platform in a way that now you're getting booked on bigger stages, you're getting booked for high profile podcasts, and you're getting seen more, because the more you get seen, the more you get paid. Tomorrow, I'll be back again with another live, but of course, I don't remember the name of the live. I'll be back tomorrow at 9 a.m. Eastern. I only go live Tuesdays and Thursdays at 9 a.m. Eastern. Y'all have a great day.